Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD StarCraft. How are you guys all doing today? And welcome to the final match between MarineKing.Prime and TSL.Hyun. Marine King is going to be the red Terran, spawning in the southeast position of Entombed Valley. I almost had a brain fart right there. And at the top left-hand corner, we have TSL.Hyun. He is the blue Zerg, taking a victory over MKP in the last match. And that was really impressive to me, because he went for the all-in, but not only that, but he kind of sniffed it, you know? I guess it was two things, if you think about it. One was that the Terran MKP went for a command center first. When a Terran goes to command center first, there are so many ways you can be aggressive to punish that. So I understand where MKP was coming from. He was trying to make the Zerg think that he was going command center first and playing eco, but instead he was just going to all in. Instead, though, Hyun had that completely figured out. I don't even know if he had it figured out. I think Hyun just said he wanted to go for an all-in. Either way, it was a pretty interesting setup, and it was very fun to watch the two armies collide head-on. And MKP knows now that I don't think he's going to do that again, man. That would just be too wild, too radical, too crazy to pull that off one more time. And in fact, he's going to go for double racks. So he is going to go for a double, I think it was 11 and 12 or 12 and 13 racks here. So it's not like a crazy aggressive racks, but it is a 2 racks opening. And what he's going to try to do here is be aggressive at the Zerg front door. Now, unlike the previous matches of this set, Hyun will not have the luxury of going for a third hatchery. You cannot third hatch against this and expect to get away. That would be suicidal. He has to make the spawning pool, which is on the way right now, and he's going to have to get some Zerglings out on the map to deal with the Marine aggression. Key here is to stop the SCV from building the bunker. Looks like the SCV is going to be able to skirt just... No, he was able to see it inside the Xel'Naga Tower's vision. So you really want to keep a tab on that SCV and where it's going so that you do not let it start to build bunkers inside your base. You can see here, MKP is bringing out a second SCV to check immediately for the positioning on the Zerg player. And now he sees the Overlord flying across the right-hand side, so he knows that the Zerg has spawned at the top left. And now the SCV, the Marine, and more SCVs are coming in. The drone being pushed away from the Xel'Naga Tower. And now the aggression begins. Will Hyun be able to hold this off? He's got 2 queens on the way. Got Zerglings coming down the ramp right now as well. It doesn't look like MKP is bothering to build a bunker yet, but he might build it on the low ground first and then elevate to the high ground. Gotta be careful though. SCV goes down. Marine King control is very good. Will he be able to take out these Zerglings? He's losing Marines though, and now has to micro against 3 Zerglings, and that was pretty good micro by MKP. But it looks like Hyun just had too many Zerglings for him to handle. Still trying to micro against these Zerglings. Very nice control. And MKP finally wins out. Super cost-efficient play right here from the Terran player. Because you have to remember, that's a lot of Zerglings. That's a lot of potential drones. It's cost opportunity here for the Zerg player. And, you know, MKP only lost 2 SCVs and like 3 or 4 Marines. So that was actually pretty good from MKP, who's actually got the Harvester lead right now at 19/18. Well done. Got more Marines coming out. CC behind the double racks as well as to be expected. Zergling is coming out from Hyun, though, who looks like he wants to make a counterattack, but he runs into a wall of Marines here. I don't know about this. He doesn't have Zergling's speed yet, and he's going off against the King of Marines. This is highly unadvisable, and he might be able to get in here and do a scout. He might as well. He's already invested so much. Saves 1 Zergling, though. Knows that he doesn't need to scout with both, but he only gets a scout on the natural, which is, I guess, all he really needs to see at this point in the game. Unfortunately, in this map, you do not have gentle breezes flying around for the Overlord's tentacles. They will be forced to park over grand canyons and crevasses, and Hyun will have to make do with that. It's a little, what I'm trying to say is it's a little less safe for Overlords on this map than, say, Daybreak. But he's still going to be able to get in here and check the gas timings. And he sees 1 gas on the Terran refinery. Doesn't really know what's in the background, though. And right now, Marine King controlling the middle Xel'Naga Tower on the map on Entombed Valley. Has a factory coming up. Will most likely go for the Marine tank style that most Terrans opt to do. Might go for earlier medevacs so he can make a frontal attack before he starts to pump out tanks. And that's a good strategy. Before you begin to churn out those tanks, it's always good to get some medevacs out. They begin to accumulate energy, and they give you the possibility to drop. They give you the opportunity to attack without fear of banelings. because you can just save the Marines into the medevacs. And that early on, there usually isn't Mutalisks quite yet. A lot of gases coming up for Hyun, though. Wow, all 4 gases at 7 minutes and 40 seconds. I think he might go Mutaline here, guys. Usually when you get that many gases this early on. And if it wasn't for the 2 barracks pressure, Hyun would have had the gases, I think, up around 6 minutes and 30 seconds. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is when a Zerg gets 4 gases all at once like that, it's a good indicator that they want to go into Mutalisks. There is a macro hatchery coming right now, and a 3rd hatchery coming up at the other expansion. Marine, so still pressuring the front door for Hyun. And he's just trying to spread out his creep right now, man. These Marines, these queens just saying, let me lay my baby eggs. Get away from the nest. And Hyun finally gets a little breathing room so he can work with his creep tumors. And that's pretty important, you know. When you go for the mass queen style, which is so prevalent now in Zerg versus Terran, look, he's got 6 queens right now. You've got to spread tumors like there's no tomorrow, because otherwise it's just wasted queen energy, you know. And by the way, I don't know if you guys knew this, but the more queens you have, the more tumors you have, the faster the creep spreads out. Look at how fast that's going out, man. That is the new creep. Well, I guess it's always been there, but that is how creep spreads nowadays. And it does look like we have a Baneling Nest coming up from the Zerg, but that's standard timing for Baneling Nest when you're on 2 bases like this. And the Terran player right now did go for double factory, so he did not go early starport, meaning that Marine King is not going to have early aggression on his side. Well, not at least not without these Marines. He's still doing a pretty good job. I'm surprised that Hyun hasn't dealt with that yet. He's been playing pretty greedily so far, but he's finally making some Zerglings. And I wonder if he's going to lose his hatchery because he's been so greedy. No, it looks like he'll be able to save him. But as I was trying to say, what Marine King's doing right here is he's not going to have early aggression on his side in the form of medevacs, but what he's going to do is build up a huge Marine tank ball because he went for 2 factories. He's going to have upgrades churning momentarily here as well, I'd imagine, and then he's going to push out when he feels comfortable with his army size. So it's a later push, but that allows Hyun to be more greedy, even more economical, as he's grabbing the 5th and 6th gas. And do note, there is a Spire on the way, so he's definitely going for Muta Baneling here. Creep tumors beginning to spread close to the middle of the map as Zerglings take control over the tower. And yeah, you know, Marine King just going to play a super conservative Echo style, Eco, and building missile turrets right now to cover his behind so he does not get shot down by Mutalisks that fly over his airspace. Got one coming up inside the main as well. Starport with reactor coming, and he's going to begin to make medevacs to support his biological forces. Let's take a look on the upgrades. 1-1 finishing up for both players, actually, at the same time. And so that means they're going to have identical upgrades here, and really close harvesters as well. This is as close as you can get for a Terran versus Zerg as you can possibly hope for. And it's really just going to come down to the big battle, and who micros better, who manages their production better as the battle's raging on. And we won't see Marine King push out yet, not until he finishes combat shields, I'd imagine, and until he gets some more tanks out. Likewise, won't see Zerg make much of a move until he's maxed out. Tumors beginning to hit the middle of the map now, and it starts to become a problem for Terran when the tumor begins to encroach near their 3rd base. On this map, obviously, the natural and the 3rd are pretty close together as to how close the creep tumors can get. So it becomes a problem when the creep tumors begin to get passes on a tower, I think, and you really do not want to let Zerg just control the map like that. So it'd be a good idea for Marine King to begin to move out pretty soon here and siege up his tanks to take out the creep tumors. 2-2 also starting up right on time for both players as Mutalisks hit the field. And we're going to start to see First Bloods build here as Mutalisks come out. Keep your eye on those SCVs, guys, and how many SCVs go down here. The Mutalisks just going in single file Congo line, but will rendezvous at this location. And I wonder if the Zerg is going to attack with Zerglings and Banelings at the same time as his Mutalisks go in. That's a strategy you can employ, but it looks like Marine King's got tanks on the high ground, looking over the 3rd as he comes in with the Mutalisks. And Hyun only picking off 1 or 2. That missile turret placement so good. Wow, that was a really good missile turret. Only 1. Now the Marines coming out as Marine King trying to take out tumors while the Mutalisks were inside his base, but he gets ravaged by the Zerglings. And now Mutalisks trying to pick off a medevac, but Marine King quick to save whatever he could. I think that might have went better for Hyun, to be quite honest with you guys. Marine King losing a chunk of his army, and Hyun really not losing much at all. Right now, the Terran at 2,000 resources lost, Zerg only at 1,400. You know, Marine King's going to have to get that fort base down. He's starting to work his way over on the left-hand side of the map and has secured the orbital command. Note, it is not a planetary. He has 4 orbitals right now, no planetaries. So the economy behind Marine King's army here is substantial. He's going to be able to meal up and pump out a ton of Marines as he comes out and begins to take out the creep tumors on the middle of the map. Some Mutalisks, though, fly by the left-hand side, and right now Marine King's going to have to get his Marines back in position to deal with these Mutalisks. He only has 1 missile turret coming up, and the SCVs are in danger. He has a patch of Marines here, though, and able to immediately dispel the Mutalisks and send them away. Very nice job, as Hyun is trying to go for a 5th hatchery. Now, this is such a crazy macro game, but it looks like the Zerg player has found the tanks. Unsiege gonna slam in with everything he's got, and where have we seen this before? Marine King losing hordes of Marines here, but does he have enough reinforcements to hold off an attack at his front door? If he can reinforce and keep the Zerglings away, then it's okay, and it looks like he's going to lose 1 tank on the left side, and this is where I bet Marine King wishes he had a planetary fortress so Zerglings could go in and take out the SCVs mining over there. I'm so surprised Hyun is not going for the SCVs over here. There we go, changes his mind, going to the left, and now he's got SCVs right for the pickin', and Marine King's gonna have to try to make a run for it here. Looks like he's got enough Marines coming in to back up the location. So confident, even dropping meals down when there's so many Zerglings around the area, and he knows damn well there could be Banelings as well. It looks like we have some Burrowed Zerglings on the way out. That was a really great play, and we've actually seen a lot of top Zergs doing that. When you're being aggressive, as you're pulling out, burrow the units so that you can be aggressive later on, and it forces scans out of the Terran player. Nice play so far from Hyun, I must say, this game. Now, he has actually lost more than the Terran player, but I still think he's done a pretty decent job of just being aggressive all throughout this game. But the problem is he did not kill off the meals and the SCVs at this location at all, and now we're starting to see a huge skyrocket in income for MarineKing.Prime, now sitting at 3,000 minerals a minute, meaning that it's a lot of Marines on the field at any point in time. That's problems for the Zerg player, and Hyun needs to get up to high tech. I'm so surprised he doesn't have a greater Spire on the way yet. You know, he's starting 3-3 already, has a lot of infestors, catches these medevacs on the field. Will he be able to get the last fungal? No, he will not, as the medevac makes its way out of there, and that Mutalisk has no hope of taking it down. Meanwhile, Marines dropping on the top right-hand side of the map. There is tumors giving vision to these drop lanes, and you might be wondering, well, why would a Zerg tumor here? And that's why. So you can see medevacs coming in, and that's such a good decision by Hyun, who can now just immediately get his units in position to deal with this medevac drop. And a great spot for those Marines to be dropping down in for MarineKing.Prime, who's just getting so cost-efficient here. Oh, Hyun, get your Zerglings back here. What are you doing? Hyun is losing so much economy due to those Marines. That is so cost-efficient for Marine King, and he finally gets back here to deal with this. But those Marines took out a bunch of drones, and they just bothered Hyun for so long. But what a fungal growth! Oh my god, fungal heaven for the Zerg player. It looks like Marine King was trying to establish a position while the medevac drop was going on, while the Zerg forces were out of position, but Hyun had the fungal growth right up his sleeve, catching all those Marines, and now all of a sudden Marine King in a lot of trouble. He just lost all of his Marines to 2 majestic fungal growths. They were absolutely awesome, and now, oh man, I think Marine King is in a lot of trouble. He is going to have to run away with whatever he can here, and it looks like he was not able to save the majority of his SCVs, and now Zergling's burrowing up inside of his base. These investors are in a little bit of trouble, might want to run away through the left side here. Not sure what they're sticking around for, maybe just to get a couple more fungals down, and now the Zergling reinforcements have arrived. They are almost 3-3 crack upgraded, and when that upgrade hits, the Marines are going to be in a lot of trouble, although it looks like Marine King has already finished 3-3 himself. So that's a good thing for Marine King, who is still just churning out Marines like no other. I'm so surprised, you know, how Marine King has been able to hold off that attack after losing all of his Marines. And that just goes to show, look at how his production facilities are lined up. That is 12 Raxes. No, excuse me, 14 Raxes here. That's 7 in total with reactors, 14 barracks, and then even more in the middle of the map. So his Marine capacity, he's building 12 at a time right now. And that's all thanks due to the meal income, 3,000 minerals a minute. But he will run dry on these minerals sooner rather than later, and it would be a good idea for him to look to get another expansion pretty soon in the game. He's also dropping on the right-hand side of the map one more time, has bunches of 3-3 Marines everywhere. He can deploy them at any time he wants. Ultras now have made their way on the map. Chitinous plating isn't quite finished yet, but the Ultras are going to really help against the tanks when if Hyun can get up inside and, you know, attack and get the Ultras in melee range. It would be great to see Hyun also go up to Greater Spire. He's already got it, but he doesn't have Brood Lords on the way, and it might be because he's maxed. Yeah, he is maxed. 197 supply right now. Also has 40-something Banelings coming out one more time, and it looks like Marine King is going to go in for a drop, but the drop is most likely going to be deflected here. Don't really see how it's going to be able to get pulled off as the fungal comes out. And I think Marine King would have been better served just not dropping, seeing all the Zerg forces ready to come in. But it looks like the drop, once again, a decoy, so they can get in the middle of the map and pick off whatever creep tumors he possibly can. Nice play by MKP, but I don't think it's really worth it to lose 2 medevacs. Perhaps he was just taking advantage of a lost situation in the first place. But you know, it'd be a good idea here for Marine King, like I said before, to go for that next base, because he's going to run out of money pretty soon. And when you run out of money as Terran, you're not able to continue the war, although he's got 2,000 banked up right now, as does the Zerg. And here comes Hyun one more time, slamming everything in, but there are Thors this time, and the Thor's able to absorb a good chunk of the Baneling shots. Now it's just Ultras left, and all these tanks on the high ground. Oh, it's a firing range, and wow, look at how much Zerg blood is splattered on the ground as the Ultras must retreat. Hyun just running up into a very nasty situation there. He didn't account for how many tanks would be up on the high ground, and the positioning, just superior decision-making by MarineKing.Prime, allowing him to hold off that attack. And now he's looking really good because he's going to be able to freely secure another expansion. Knows there will not be another Zerg attack for quite some time. Note, both players have just used up their trust fund. They had something like 2,000 minerals banked up. Well, guess what? Now we've got 70 Zerglings, 2 Ultras, 3 tanks, 5 Marauders, and 14 Marines coming out. So their retirement savings has been used up. And so that's why Marine King really needed that next base. So he gets fungled one more time. Oh, MKP, you've got to be careful about those fungal growths. Hyun coming in, though. I don't know if he's got enough. He doesn't. Hyun has to pull back, and this is a huge Terran metal army rolling through the middle of the map. Marauders and tanks galore. There are no Brood Lords yet. 7 are morphing on the field, but Hyun right now, with just Zerglings and Ultras, will not be able to take out this army. He needs Brood Lords right now. I don't know where the 7 Brood Lords are morphing at the moment in time. There they are at the left-hand side of the map. Good call from Hyun not to morph them too close in the middle of the map where they could be picked off, but as a result, he loses a hatchery at the left-hand side. Did burrow an investor to save it, but one hatchery has fallen for the Zerg player, so he's hemorrhaging a little bit economic-wise. Gonna come in with the Brood Lords now, and I don't know if Marine King's got anything to deal with these Brood Lords. He has to retreat and fall back and begin Viking production. This is so risky for him to stay in an offensive posture while the Brood Lords are coming in. But remember, Brood Lords are pretty slow, so on the way out here, Marine King can take out as many hatcheries as he can find, and it looks like he just got one. And the Brood Lords are still chasing him down. All the Zerg units burrowing to try to save themselves. They're like cockroaches, trying to get out of the way. Interesting random fact 101, but cockroaches can survive a nuclear blast. So, here we go. Hyun coming in with his forces, trying to push away the Terran army, and now Marine King saving the slow units like the tanks, picking them up so they won't die to the Brood Lords. But I really like the play by MKP. Goes in, takes out this hatchery on the way out as the Brood Lords were slowly chasing him down. And now you can bet that Viking production is on the way. Let's see. Actually, I guess you can't bet Viking production is on the way. I'm not too sure why MKP isn't making Vikings. Maybe he just feels like he has enough Marines to take out the Brood Lords, and in fact he does. Oh, those Brood Lords barely able to fly over the chasm. And this is the best spot they're going to be able to park themselves at. Good fungal from Hyun, who is now running out of money because he lost 2 bases. I don't think he can keep up this battle against Marine King, who's just coming from all angles here. And MKP, despite not having any Vikings in the air, maybe he won't be able to take out the Brood Lords. Yeah, he won't. So the Broodlords will hold on for Hyun, and I think now it's about time to make Vikings, MKP. I don't know what you're doing. You're just being a silly goose for not making Vikings right now. He's still making Medivacs. I don't know, is he trying to prove a point right here that he doesn't need Vikings to take out Broodlords? Because you don't want to just keep throwing away your forces like that, but hey, MKP is MKP. He is the Marine King, he's not the Viking King, so maybe maybe he is trying to make a point here. But it's still his game to lose at this point. Making another march with his Marines here in its extended campaign to take out the Zerg Broodlords with purely Marines. And I don't know what's going on back here. It looks like the SCVs are still mining pretty happily. Income tab, 61 to 55 harvesters. So the Zerg still has considerable economy and just needs to make a hatchery, man. He just doesn't have enough to make one. Every time he finds himself getting resources, he has to blow it on more Ultras or Broodlords. And here we go, another big attack. Finally, Vikings making their cameo appearance, but there's only 2. And the Ultras really getting up in the mix here, but the Marines, oh, they're so sturdy in that ball. But the Ultras do AoE damage. Will the Ultra be able to cleave it down? No, but the Fungal may be able to be the finishing blow. And once again, Hyun holds on for dear life. Marine King refusing to make more Vikings. And it looks like he is going to go for a drop inside the main. Picks off another hatchery. Not the main, excuse me. The third hatchery. Picks it off again. So another critical blow to TSL.Hyun, who was looking like for a moment there he might have had a shot for survival. But now Hyun comes in with the Overlord Seas. Oh, God. Meals. And I think Marine King's probably seeing this himself. He's like, yep, I got you in the game now. I got you in the bag. Look at all the meals, 2,500 to 300 minerals harvested per minute. And that is a pretty nasty ratio. So, I don't know, man. This is looking pretty grim for the Zerg player. Has to fall back with his Ultras. Taking a good, decent amount of damage right there. And now Hyun just left with Broodlords in the air. And really not too much on the ground, like 2 very crippled Ultralisks. And at this point, it's looking quite grim for the Zerg player. 194 supply to 108, and I guess it is possible to win against Broodlords with just purely Marines. It might not be the right way to do it, but it is the Marine King way to do it. And I guess before MKP takes that victory, he's going to take out as many tumors as he can. And still kind of just waiting to see what happens here. A couple of Zerglings made their way over to the bottom left, but unfortunately it doesn't look like there were many Banelings. If there were, I didn't catch it, but the Zerglings are burrowed for now, just going to try to be a nuisance when they pop up. I don't think MKP really cares about that, though. He is making Viking +1 air weapons, so I guess he will eventually incorporate some Vikings into his plan. But for now, you know, he could just probably move forward, and I don't really know what the Zerg player can do. He's still got some Broodlords in the air. Cannot let himself get caught like that, but he gets a great Fungal again. Wow! Hyun's Fungals this game have just been something else, but despite that, it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. There's the March of Death, and Hyun realizes he's got nothing left in the tank. Has to GG. Look, there were 2 more CCs coming up for Marine King as well. And it looks like MKP will take this best of 3 against TSL.Hyun. That was a really, really good set of Terran vs. Zerg games. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this cast as much as I did. If you did, make sure to check me out. I'm on youtube.com/HDStarcraft. You guys can find more StarCraft 2 videos there. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next cast. This is HD, signing out.